I'm going to be alone for the holidays. You know what? It's hard. It's really hard. I recently saw a video about this woman. She's 87 years old, and her name is Josephine. She was walking down the street and looked like she was in New York City. And she's just dressed really beautifully. I mean, her coat was multicolored, kind of shades of blue, and she had a scarf that really complemented that. And her glasses even had a bit of a blue hint to them that matched. And when she started talking, she just had this persona about her that just drew me in. Like I'd known her for a long time and that I wanted to be her friend. And she starts sharing her story about how many years ago she'd had this boyfriend and he wanted, he'd written to her and said like, hey, can I be your guy? And she chose to not pursue the relationship. She said that they had religious differences and she just wasn't sure that she wanted that for her life at the time. And so many years ago, it sounds like her father passed away first and then eventually her mother. You could tell by the pain in her voice that she had been really close to her mom, and that was a really difficult loss. Most recently, she had been enjoying the holidays with her friend. It sounded like her friend lived just across the street. And it sounded like she would always go over there because her friend was the one that was a really good cook. And I can't remember what part she played in it, but I'm sure they enjoyed their time together always, And eventually that one caught up as well, and her friend passed away, and now she's alone. And she just said, it's just really hard. It just hurts to be alone. And, there were elements of her story that resonated with me. I can appreciate having to say no to somebody because of religious differences. I understand what it's like to lose the first parent, and then to lose another loved one and then another, and especially the one that you're like really close to, and how hard that is. Death and aging came marching in my world as well. And one by one, the chairs went empty, and this year the table is now silent. And it's hard. Like Josephine says, it's hard. Let me tell you, Thanksgiving was always my favorite holiday, right? The other holidays like Christmas and Easter, they felt more rigid, which, as an adult now I realize they're probably just more scheduled. So-and-so is going to show up, or we have to wait for so-and-so, this is when we're going to eat, or this is when we open gifts, that kind of thing. And Thanksgiving wasn't that. Thanksgiving was more of a free-for-all. But, my mom, she didn't leave anything to chance. It may look like a free-for-all on the day, but that's because she did such a great job going into it. She'd start that menu like months in advance. And then as we got closer, she'd start planning it all out that, what day do we start what time do we start what, so that the dishes we were preparing, they'd all land on the table at the same time, like hot, ready to go, that kind of thing. And of course, all the other family would come in and they'd bring their food items as well. And we'd have all the traditional, white people food, the green bean casserole and the turkey and the stuffing. And, I'm up north far enough that it's not cornbread stuffing. I'm sorry. Anyway, I digress. So we'd get together, we'd get the table and stretch it out and put all the leaves in it. And maybe have to set up a couple extra tables really close by for everybody. But it was really like an all hands on deck event because, sometimes the weather would be bad already and maybe have to get the tractor and the snow blower out and like head out to open up roads so we could load everybody up and get them over here. But let me tell you, once my cousins arrived, man, us kids, we just barrel downstairs to the basement and we would just play, right? No rules, just play. It was wonderful. And then, of course, we'd eventually make our way to the table and we would all gather around. And it was so nice. It was just a meal, a day filled with laughter, with fun, and just that childlike play. So, of course, I grew up, go off to college, get good grades, get a job. That's another video. And, I move away to take my first job, as a working professional. And, fortunately, that job was only like 3 hours away. So I could still drive home for the holidays. So I still had that for a while. But, I ended up getting married there and we moved away, a cross-country move. And we would end up having several more cross-country moves with his career. And, it's exciting getting to be in other places and things, but it makes it really difficult to get home for the holidays. So, eventually we get to enjoy parenthood, and then, unfortunately life works out, it becomes single parenthood. And, with each of these stages, just a little bit more alone and a little bit more alone. I was blessed. I had really good friends, and they invited me, hey, come join us for the holidays. We're going to get the family together. There'll be a lot of people. There will be a lot of food. You're my friend. Come join us. And so, of course, I said yes, and I went. And I am so grateful for all the times I got to be included. That really was a very generous offer on their behalf. And yet, you know what? It ended up, I just felt really awkward. I'm sitting there, I feel like that unusual plus one that kind of doesn't belong. It's not my family, it's not my traditions, it's not my story, it's not, in some cases, not my foods. My friend is busy, she's organizing the meal and she's trying to keep everything running. So she can't really hang out and visit, and her family doesn't really know me, so they're not talking to me either. And and it even escalated at one point where I had a family member confront me and say, exactly why are you here? So I tell you guys, it was awkward and I didn't like it, right? And I realized that the choice I had made in saying yes, I was choosing to avoid the emptiness and the loneliness. And yet what I was experiencing was a pain that was worse than that. And I just got to the point where I just said, you know what? No more. I'm not going to. And now when people ask me, and they still do, and that's so wonderful. And I want to encourage, don't stop just because I'm saying this. This is my experience. This is my story. But for me, when people ask me, I typically just say, you know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And yet I tell you, I'm going to decline. I will be okay, and it will be okay. Thank you again. And I just let it go at that. A few years ago, I was so excited I got to move back home. And let me tell you, it was wonderful. It was so nice being back home, right? The family table. My mom and I are preparing all the traditional foods that we usually eat, whether we like them or not, which I think is kind of funny. Why would we put it on the table if we don't really like it? But anyway, I digress, right? But I had my dad there. I had my mom. I had my uncle who I was really close to. It was wonderful. We'd sat around the table and we enjoyed all the wonderful foods. We laughed, we shared stories. I got to hear a lot of them reminiscing about what life was like when they were growing up. And it was so nice, right? Oh, just food for my soul. But like Josephine, death and aging moved forward for me as well. And one by one, the chairs started going empty. And now this year, the table is silent. Before being alone at the holidays it was a geographical issue, right? It's just a long ways. Can I get a flight? It's too far to drive. I don't know if I can get off from work. It was just a geographical issue. But this year, no. This year it's permanent. What we've had before, that isn't coming back. That's gone. It's gone. And that's what makes it really painful. Recently I had a friend reach out to me, and oh gosh, I'm so glad she did. And she challenged me. She says, why don't you build for yourself a vision of what you want your holidays to look like? She suggested that I take a look at, how we used to always do it, and to recognize that because it isn't coming back, it really isn't. It's an outdated belief to think that what I used to have is what I have to have going forward, what I should have going forward, right? It's, what happened in the past, it's important, it's valid, it's all there, but it's not coming back. So she challenged me to give myself permission to let it go, to build for myself an experience, to create an experience that met my needs and made my heart happy. I'm really glad that she challenged me to that, because I realized in that exercise of really re-examining it, that the pain and the loneliness that I was feeling, those are actually the keys to unlocking my own happiness, right? Like, I know it sounds kind of crazy, so just follow along with me here. But in examining all of that, I realized that, yeah, what was in the past is important. I can create something new that now serves me. To sit here and to wallow in the what shoulds be, like just keep saying it should be this, it should be that, I just create for myself a lot of pain. But why not take what used to be and build something new that honors that honors my family, my traditions, our stories, and create an environment and create experiences that, you know, honor what the holidays are about and that make me happy. And so I just want to encourage you too. Are you alone this holiday? Are you struggling? Just in general, are the holidays not going to be what you want them to be, not what you were expecting? If so, I just want to tell you, I see you. You're not alone. I am so excited that you guys are here because you know what? Even though my table is silent this year, it's going to be okay. It really is, because I have you guys. I have you, my viewers. You're with me now. And that's really wonderful. And I just want so bad, like, please drop some comments for me, okay? Tell me about your holidays. Tell me, what are you struggling with? Tell me, what do you want to build for yourself that works better for you? Tell me some of the stories and the family traditions that you want to honor. Tell me, what do the holidays mean to you and how do you honor that? I want to hear from you guys. I'm excited. Let's just create this space here where we can create community. We can share our hopes and our dreams and maybe even some of our pain, but we can also empower each other with tools that will help move us forward and help us move to a place where the holidays, once again, become that place of laughter and joy and happiness and childlike play. Because you know what? In doing all of this work, I discovered that being alone wasn't actually the problem at all. I wasn't worried about loneliness. I actually was looking for home, right? That place where my puzzle piece fits. Again, and I know I said it before, I'm going to say it again. For me, home became that place of laughter, of joy, of childlike play. That's what I needed going forward. That's what I want to build. And so I'm excited to hear from you guys. What do you need? What are you going to build? I hope for you guys that your holidays are fantastic. And I want to wish you all much love. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Give a new YouTube content creator a little love for the holidays. And just please know you're not alone. Much love. Okay, so clearly I'm a new content creator. That was my first video. If you've made it this far, have a good laugh with me. Let me tell you, I'm a perfectionist. And this idea that my first few videos have to suck, oh, help. Enjoy a few outtakes. 10 years old, the content creator, and I just let it go at that. Because Thanksgiving holiday was one of those holidays. Oh my God, my dog is totally upchucking right now.